All right, let's talk about Hatton National Bank. They just dropped their Q3 2025 results, and we're going to dig way beyond the headlines to see what's really going on.
So, the big number everyone's talking about is this, a massive 45.5% surge in year-over-year profits. On the surface, that looks absolutely incredible.
But you have to ask the question, right? Is this growth actually real? Is it sustainable? Or is there something else happening under the hood?
Okay, before we get into the weeds, just a quick heads up. This is all my personal opinion, for info purposes only. It's definitely not financial advice. And when you see adjusted data, that's from my own models, so it might look a little different from the official numbers.
So, let's start with that 45% profit puzzle. We're going to tear apart that headline number and see what's really driving it.
Okay, take a look at this chart. It pretty much says it all. You've got net interest income. That's their core lending business. It grew by just 6%. Kind of modest. Fee income. That did pretty well, up 27%. But look at this. Both of those are just dwarfed by this massive bar here. That's an 11.2 billion rupee swing from something called impairment reversals. That's where the giant profit number is coming from.
And here's the key takeaway, the most important part. That huge swing, it's a one-time thing. It's not part of their core, repeatable business. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good sign. It means their loan quality is getting better, but it's not sustainable growth. And as an analyst, you've got to be able to separate this kind of one-off noise from the real underlying performance.
So if we ignore that one-time boost, what's left? Let's look inside the actual core engine of the bank and see what's really sustainably powering it day to day.
And what we find is really interesting. There's a clear split happening. On one side, you have their traditional lending business, net interest income. It's getting squeezed by falling interest rates, so it only grew 6%. But on the other side, fee and commission income, think digital banking, cards, that sort of thing, it absolutely surged by 27%. That shows some really healthy diversification.
And what's really impressive is how efficient they are. Even with all the inflationary pressure out there, they are running a super tight ship. Their cost-to-income ratio is just under 39%. You know what that means? For every 100 rupees they bring in, they're only spending about 39 to run the business. That is just incredibly efficient.
Okay, now we get to the really good part. We're going to connect that profit story we just talked about to the bank's real foundational strength, its balance sheet. This is where you find the why behind all those numbers.
So you remember that big number from the P&L statement, that 6.9 billion rupee impairment reversal that gave the profit a huge kind of artificial boost?
Well, a number that big doesn't just magically appear, right? It's a direct reflection of something much deeper.
And here it is, a Stage 3 non-performing loan ratio of only 1.36%. I mean, that is an exceptionally low number. It tells you their loan book is incredibly healthy. This is why they can reverse those old provisions. And that reversal flows right through to the P&L as pure profit. You see the connection? The P&L gain is a direct result of a high-quality balance sheet.
And that strength, man, you can see it all over their capital buffers. Just look at this. Their Tier 1 capital is at 18.8%. That's almost double what the regulators require. And their total capital? Over 22%, way above the minimum. What this means is HNB is just massively overcapitalized. It's an incredibly safe bank.
And there's one more piece to this fortress, a CASA ratio of 33.5%. So basically, a full third of all their money comes from low-cost current and savings accounts. That is cheap, stable funding. It's like having a powerful defensive moat around your castle, especially when interest rates are bouncing all over the place.
Okay, so we've established the balance sheet is a fortress, rock solid. But here comes the ultimate test. Are all these profits we're talking about real? Are they backed by actual cash? Let's run the cash quality test. And to do that, we use a really cool metric called the cash conversion ratio, or CCR for short. It's pretty simple, actually. It just measures how good a company is at turning its paper profits into cold, hard cash. And the magic number is 1. Anything over 1 is a sign of really high-quality earnings.
So what's HNB's number? An incredible 1.37. That confirms it. These earnings are not some accounting fantasy. They are absolutely backed by a surplus of real cash flowing into the business.
So the message here is crystal clear. The quality of their earnings is top-notch. The bank is actually generating more cash than the P&L even shows. And you know, getting a handle on metrics like CCR, that's what takes you from just looking at the headlines to doing a real, proper analysis.
All right, so let's bring it all home. Let's cull all these threads together and give a final verdict.
So on one side, you have these undeniable strengths, right? A fortress balance sheet, that best-in-class asset quality with a super low NPL ratio, and that really strong cash generation. But on the other side, you have to be cautious. Their core lending margins are definitely getting squeezed. And that big, flashy headline profit number, well, we know it was leaning heavily on a one-time gain.
And that leaves us with the big, critical question. The bank is absolutely a fortress of safety and quality, no doubt about it. But with its main engine, lending, slowing down, and those one-off profit boosts now in the rearview mirror, where is future growth going to come from? That is the billion-dollar question for HNB going forward. If you enjoyed digging into the real story like this, make sure you subscribe for more.